Today I'm going to be talking you through some of the plugins that you can install onto WordPress that I've used quite frequently on some of the sites that I've done in the past using WordPress. Some of the ones obviously will be hopefully quite useful to you. Most of them are there are a couple, that I will pretty much always activate and install straight away because they are plugins that allow functionality that is common or necessary on the majority of sites that I use, whether it's basic things from comment anti-spam to things like a custom login template plugin that you can install as well. Things like that are normally things that I'll nearly always install, but there are obviously some more advanced plugins that you can use to help with the functionality of your site, security, performance, all kinds of things. And I'll be going through just a couple of those in a short while later on in this video. First of all, I'm just going to show you how to update, because I know we skipped over it in the last video, how to update WordPress when an update comes down. And as you can see, I've logged into the back end, the dashboard area, and up the top you can see this yellow bar saying WordPress 3.2.1 is available, please update now. Now you can either click on the please update now link, or you can go over here under the dashboard, just click that down, there you are. So you've got home and updates. And if you click on updates, number 2 next to it, so 2 updates, and we can see that we have a version of WordPress to update and also a update for the 2011 theme. So to update themes, all you need to do is you can either select all, or you can select them, take that off, select them individually, and then just hit update themes. When you hit that, it will come up to the update themes page. You'll get a small little animation here that's telling you where we are progress-wise in terms of updating the theme. Now, while any form of update is running through this WordPress system, it enters maintenance mode. So if somebody tries to view your site whilst this is going on, they will be just shown, I can't remember the exact page, but it's just a default 404 page, but it comes up saying this site is in maintenance right now, please check again shortly. And as you can see, after it's finished that update, it does disable the maintenance mode again for you. All updates have been completed. Please return to the themes page, return to WordPress updates. So we'll go back to the updates page. And as you can see, the theme's updated properly, and with our number of updates available has dropped down to 1, so it's just the WordPress one. Now, there's 2 ways of updating WordPress, as I've mentioned before. You can either download the latest version and follow the README instructions for how to upgrade. That will involve you downloading the file from WordPress.org and then uploading the extracted files through an FTP client to your server and to your web directory. The other easy way is just clicking update now, and hopefully you'll be able to see that usually it doesn't take that long. It does depend slightly on your internet, but I know this is actually a fairly short version. As you can see, we've already finished. But it'll unpack the update, it will verify it, it'll install, it'll upgrade the database, and then WordPress will hopefully have been successfully updated. You can then go back to the dashboard. There are no more updates available. If we click on updates, when there's none, obviously they're just a blank screen of saying everything's up to date. You can click check again in case yours hasn't automatically checked to see, but it does say when it last looked for them. So we'll go back to the home page now, and we're going to go on to plugins. Now, if we click on the little plugin drop down, you can see we've got a couple here. So we'll click onto plugins here. And this is our list of plugins that have been installed. They aren't activated. Now there's quite a lot of differences between an activated, deactivated, installed, uninstalled, etc, etc. So with a plugin on WordPress, you first of all have to install it. Now you can install this in 2 ways. You can click on the add new here or up the top here, and you can search through the WordPress plugin library. Or if you find a plugin online you want to use, again you can search the online version of the library rather than from your WordPress backend. Dashboard, you can choose to download the plugin files manually, extract the files, and there will nearly always be a README instruction file that you'll need to use in order to find out the right place on your FTP. Now the usual place that they go is, I believe, wp-includes, and then in the plugins file. I think that's right. It might be. I don't think it's content. I think it's includes. I haven't looked. I haven't had to manually upload them in a long while because it's just easier for me to add them through the interface here, and everything seems to work fine with this. So I've had no need to. But if you prefer doing it via FTP, it's fairly simple. The instructions in each plugin file are usually ever so slightly different, so you must take care that you're uploading them to the right place if you're doing that manually. Anyway, once you've actually uploaded them, they will appear on this screen as installed. When you add a new plugin via the online library, it will come up here like these are here, and you'll have options activate, edit, or delete. Now, you're not really going to need to edit the plugin unless you want to change, unless it's a visual plugin that you may want to change some of the CSS code for, but you can do that in the editor down there and just choose the plugin file from the drop down menu. The one you're going to be focusing on is activate and delete. Obviously, if you've downloaded the wrong one and you don't want it, hit delete and it'll delete it quite quickly for you. To activate a plugin, just click activate, let the page reload, and the plugin will now activate. Now, this plugin that I've activated here, Hello Dolly, is one that comes with WordPress as a stock plugin. It says this is not just a plugin, it symbolises the hope and enthusiasm of an entire generation, summed up in 2 words sung by the most famous, famously by Louis Armstrong, Hello Dolly. So you'll see random lyrics basically from Hello Dolly in the upper right hand corner. So here we are. If I just refresh the page, you should see some different lyrics. Yep, so You're Still Going Strong has now appeared. Yay! Right, so the plugin above is a very, very useful plugin. I've got it running on most of my sites along with some other anti-spam just to help out. But again, it's used by millions, and it's one of the best ways to protect your blog from comment and trackback spam. So people posting and it just being random links or generic spam bots basically. So we'll hit activate. There's actually some additional instructions for this. And what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to enter an API key. Now, some plugins will require an API key. So what we're going to do is we'll right click and go open a new tab for that, and we're going to need to sign up for a key here. So it's very simple stuff. Oh, it used to be free. Maybe not. Okay, I used to have a free version of that. So, oh yeah, no, I remember now. I've remembered why I've stopped using it, because it is no longer free. Right, okay, that's fine. Oh, I've gone on to the wrong one. Sorry, we'll just skip back to this one. There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, no, I've completely forgotten. That is now one I can't use. If I look, this is now my other site. I used to, yeah. So again, I used to have this as a free version. I used to have it as a free version, so I've used that on this site. So actually, what I'll show you is I'll show you Sabre. So it's a simple anti-bot registration engine, which is quite useful, and does general anti-spam as well. So now it's actually quite good, because it means I can show you to deactivate, and I actually delete this one. So to deactivate a plugin when you no longer want it, you can hit deactivate and then hit delete. It will come up with this menu saying, "Are you about to remove the following plugin? Do you want to delete the files?" Yes. If not, no, and return to the plugin menu. That's now been deleted, so that's excellent. Got rid of that, simple. So we're going to add a new plugin now. So we're going to look for Sabre. All it is, simply type it into the search engine and hit search. You can obviously search for term, author, or a tag, and you've got recently uploaded, featured, popular, newest, etc. Should you want anything like that, to just browse through the latest ones, or just have a quick look through without having to type anything into the search if you're not sure what kind of plugin you're looking for. So this one's the one we want at the top here, Sabre. It's actually got another one underneath, but this is the one we want. Sabre version 2.0. Sorry, version 1.20. Completely misread that. And you can either click on the details tab, which will obviously take you to, I'll open up in a new tab, take you to this page, which is loaded inside your site, but it's actually pulling the information from the WordPress plugin store, basically. So here we can see exactly what it will allow you to do. We can see installation information. So this is the information you'll need to follow should you download it manually and upload it to install rather than doing the automatic process I'm about to show you. No harm in either way, just personal preference. You've got some screenshot stuff here, so it's going to add some almost some anti-spam stuff to the registration fields and stuff like that. We've got changelog, FAQs and other notes as well, but we'll get rid of that now. And we just want to do install now. Are you sure you want to install this plugin? Yep, yeah, we do. And again, it will just be pretty much the same update screen that you've seen previously when updating WordPress or a theme. It will run through unpacking it, installing it, and hopefully say successfully installed. And we're going to go and activate the plugin. Right, so that plugin is now completely activated. Now, some will have options of configure next to them once they've been activated. Now, obviously, where's the delete gone? Well, you can only delete a plugin once you've deactivated it. This is obviously because it needs to be, the database needs to be told that this is no longer active plugin and therefore can be deleted. If it was to delete it while it was active, it could cause some issues and corruption with other WordPress data. So that's why we deactivate the plugin before we are allowed to delete it. It's also advisable that before performing large updates to either the WordPress system, or if you're backing up or updating to a newer version of a plugin and it's a major change, that you deactivate the current version of the plugin first before running the updater. This is just so that the database doesn't mistake the newer plugin source code and database changes that it may imply with that of the older one, and then try and keep the older one rather than installing the new one. So it's always a good idea to deactivate first. Anyway, the configure menu for Sabre just links through to its actual settings, which can be found under the tools menu where it's installed itself. Now, we've got a list of options for this, and you'll find this with each plugin. Each plugin will obviously have so many different settings that you can apply, unless it's a really simple plugin that just changes a specific thing on the site and doesn't need any obvious editing. But most of them will come with some form of setting-based menu. So we can choose to install Captcha, use a white background, which letters and characters are accepted, the string length, contrast, etc., etc. So all the stuff that you may need for some anti-spam stuff. Now I'm going to switch over now to my actual blog where I've got some other plugins installed, and I'll just talk you through a couple of them that you may find of interest, and you may want to note the names down should you want to install them. This one here, BM Custom Login, is quite useful. I don't have it activated on my site at the moment because I need to design the PSD for it. But basically what it allows you to do is, rather than have that, I'll show you on the YouTube one that we've been using, if we log out, rather than having this fairly plain, boring WordPress login page, if you activate it and install it, it actually gives you a custom template for that login window, and it also provides you with the PSD file, so you can open it up in Photoshop and redesign the login image that you'd like. All you then have to do is upload it back to the template plugin folder, and it will obviously display on your site. It's quite useful, especially if you're designing a site for a client that wants their logo. You thought it'd be nice to have their logo rather than WordPress, or say have WordPress and then their logo with it as well. Just gives it a bit more of a custom feel. Page links too, a very, very useful plugin, and I nearly always end up using this on a site that uses WordPress. Now page links too is very useful in the sense that if I just go to my blog page, as you can see up the top, we've got a home link, about me, and a back to site link. Now that back to site link, if I click on it, goes back to my main web page. Now how have I actually done that? Because that's actually a page tab, that should be going to a page. And the only way to create those, unless you set it up in a custom menu and then fiddle around with a lot of code in the back end just to do this one simple thing, isn't possible to code manually. So the easiest way of doing it is with this plugin called Page Links 2. Now when you're in the page view that you're wanting to use, you've made the title saying back to site, and just adds a little tick box and a URL link at the bottom of the page saying where do you want this page to link to. So you type in the URL and tick it, and what that does is that instead of redirecting you to taking you to the page called back to site that I've created, it takes you to the web link that I've provided when you click on that page link. So it's quite a useful plugin. Run PHP is just a simple plugin that allows you to put PHP code into a post and with a tick box at the bottom to allow any PHP code you've typed to run physically on the page. By default, WordPress prevents this so that you can't be running dodgy scripts basically on your page. I've also got the retweet button, sorry. So obviously it allows me to retweet my blog posts, and you can see that here over in the right hand corner. Quite a nice little plugin, and that does give you some options with the CSS about where to place it and how it looks and things like that. User avatar. Obviously I've installed this to allow me to link my profile image up to my Gravatar image, so it stays the same depending on which site I'm going to, which is quite useful. Now this is quite a useful plugin. WordPress.com stats. Now WordPress.com stats requires a WordPress.com API key. It is free. All it requires you to do is have an account on WordPress.com. Now you might be thinking, well, WordPress.com is the online, allows you to sign up with a username, so Harry Finn, and gives you harryfinn.wordpress.com. That then gives you a WordPress blog with some obviously slight restrictions on the customization. So why do we need that? Well, you need an account with them so that they can monitor your site statistics with that API key. Now all you need to do once you've created an account with them is you can choose to link a third-party or self-hosted blog, which is what I've done. So with my WordPress.com account, I've linked my harryfinn.co.uk/blog WordPress system with that. So the stats that I receive for my blog are now linked to that key, which is a very useful tool, and I'll show you that plugin page in a minute because it's actually quite useful in showing
It's 11 o'clock.
Thank you, Mac. Yep, it's still telling me the time. The next plugin down is WordPress Mobile Pack. It basically just installs a mobile theme. So if you go to harryfinn.co.uk/blog on your mobile device, it should come up with m.harryfinn.co.uk/blog, and it should just show you a really nasty, basic. It's a really basic theme. That's what it is of my site. At some point I will get around to designing a mobile theme so it looks a bit nicer, but with most smartphones they either allow you to see the full site anyway or display it a bit nicer. The final one I've got on here is WP Polls. It's a basic Ajax poll system for your blog. You can obviously have a voting system and it automatically updates it with the use of Ajax dynamically on the page to show you the results. It is very versatile and does allow lots of customization, themes and CSS styles to be edited, so there are lots of options with that. Obviously these are just a few that I'm using on this site, and there are plenty more that you can have a look at. I will, if I come across any more that I think might be of interest to anyone starting up with a WordPress site, I will mention them in the description later on, or I'll leave a comment at the end of another video or something like that. I'll just show you the statistics plugin because it's quite useful. As you can see, it's actually installed itself under the dashboard with site stats. So if we click on that, this is showing the sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied this morning. This is actually showing the site stats for the video, for the site, sorry. Dear me, must be early. So as we can see, it shows a nice little bar graph representing views per day, weeks, months, etc. We've got referrers, so where the links coming, where are the people coming from? Are they clicking on the blog link? Are they clicking on another link somewhere else? We've got search engine terms that are coming up. I've got no idea what cross-dressing, how it comes up there. There is one post on my blog, probably right at the beginning, if you really want to go and have a look, of me wearing a dress. It was at my 18th birthday. There was lots of alcohol involved, and I rest my case. So, you know, it's not something I do, you know, every weekend. Definitely not. Anyway, on the right-hand side we get the top posts and pages. So, what pages are people looking at the most? And yeah, lovely. 2 people have been looking at that. I'll show you it now, just so you know. I've saved embarrassment later on. I really don't mind. I'm not going to click on the link, but it's me and my brother on our 18th birthday, dressed up in dresses. Enjoy. And goodbye. There we are. So obviously it shows the latest posts that you've, the posts that have received the most views in the recent days, or today, sorry. Obviously shows what happened yesterday. We've got a number of clicks, where they came from, and it doesn't obviously count your own visits to your site, so you can't just repeatedly spam your site to get more hits and things like that, which is, you know, quite useful, I suppose, to actually get a proper idea of how many people are visiting your site. So views today, I have had 25 views already today. My busiest day was April 30th, 2011, and so far I've had 2,263 unique views. Okay, so that is a brief overlook of plugins, how to delete them, install them, activate them, and just play around with some of the settings. Obviously there are a lot more to plugins, but I don't want to be going into too much depth with each individual one, because obviously it's going to take a lot more time and it won't be useful to all of you. If there is a specific plugin you're having issues with, or you'd like some more in-depth tutorial based done on, let me know, email or PM me, and I'll try and sort that out for you. I do apologise, now I should have mentioned at the beginning of the video, but I do apologise for the fact that this video is obviously up a lot later than expected, and there's no the first custom theme tutorial isn't up. I wasn't able to actually upload videos to YouTube this week. I had some issues uploading, so I'm hoping this one goes up alright. But the next video will be up sometime next week. I'm hoping before the end of the week this time, but that will be the first one on theme customization. Just a note about that, I will be going over obviously areas within the CSS file, so it will be quite a long video. I know these are turning into quite long videos themselves, but it will be going into quite a lot of depth with the CSS code and which styles affect which areas of your theme and how best to navigate that and troubleshoot areas, and also find out which areas to change the styling of. So it will be quite a code-based video, but I will try and take it fairly slow so you can take down as much detail as possible, and obviously anyone that's watching who wants to who's starting out with code and WordPress the system as well will hopefully be able to get to grips with that as easily as possible. Thank you for watching, guys. Again, please comment, rate, subscribe. Email me with any queries that you might have, harry@harryfinn.co.uk, and cheers for watching.